Hello again everybody, and welcome back to Canal Sidings for another update on the Canal Side warehouse and gatehouse. What you're looking at now is where we left it last time, with everything sort of sitting in place. And what I'm going to do now is get it all primed in my spray booth, and by request of a couple of my subscribers, I will give you a quick tour of my spray booth before I actually get it all primed. So let's get on with that. Okay, I'm back with my spray booth. As you can see, it's made from a really useful box, which is just a normal 64 litre really useful box. And to use it, you take the front off. So I'll take that off now, and that gives you quite a large area for spraying into. I do have to say, excuse the other clutter in here. Too many different jobs going on at the same time, all on the railway, and when I bring the spray booth in, I simply have to just shift everything else out of the way and hope for the best. Anyway, the filtration unit is here on the top. Filtration unit bar. It's the shape that it is because it came out of an old dehumidifier. That's where it came from. And this is still the original material that was in it, but on the other side, on the business side, this is cooker hood, if you can see it. This is cooker hood filtration material, and that's the one I replaced. It's the one that gets absolutely filthy. I think I was last spraying white primer. This down the back here is just trying to get rid of some of the black that had gone on there. Doesn't normally do that. The extraction unit fits on the top. Well, the next part of the extraction unit fits on the top, and that's this piece with its 4-inch hose, and that goes. I've just knocked all this off. Stick this back on. This is just the sealant that stops the air getting sucked in around this really useful box. To fix it on, we just push down and clip, push down and clip, and now there's a good seal between this box and this box and this outlet. What I originally had, and if you can see it, I'm not sure you can you see that? The camera lights are shining straight in my face. Yeah, I'll tip it forward anyway to show you. It's here. Used to be an extraction fan in the top, and it was a real extractor fan, brushless, so it was safe. And the intention was to use that and then put the exhaust hose on top of that and exhaust it outside. The fan was just gutless. In fact, if I sprayed out here, half the spray went out this way. It just didn't suck it in at all. So what I now use is something that's buried way down in the corner over there, which is the dust extractor for my circular saw table, which is actually what you can see under here, possibly. And that's normally connected to there, and normally has a big bag that sits under the chair that's in that corner. But for spraying, I take the bag off and I use a piece of 125mm hose, which is 5-inch I think, and vent it straight through the wall and outside. So all the particulates, we hope, get caught in here. All the volatiles go straight out and straight outside, and that fan really sucks. I have to make sure I open the door, because if the door to this room opens outwards, and excuse me, and if I don't open the door before I turn the fan on, it's really hard to push the door open because there is so much suction. Anyway, that is my spray booth, made out of two really useful boxes. One thing it does lack is light, and I have got on order a couple of ceiling lights to go here and here. Whether they're going to be any good or not, I don't know. If they don't work there, I might have to try and put them on the sides here and angle them down. But they are adjustable angle, so they should be able to do the job that I want them to do. But it is very dark in there if you're not careful. And it's difficult to put a light here because you're banging into it all the time. When I'm actually spraying, I use this, which sits in there, and it holds that piece at the back up, stops it falling down, and gives me a completely flat surface for whatever I'm spraying, and extends me out a little bit so I haven't got this funny lip on the front. And then I do also have a turntable. All the turntables that, a bit more filter material there, all the turntables that I found I decided were too small. This was the biggest I could get, so I added the piece of wood that I cut out for the locomotive turntable on Canal Sidings, on my Inglethorpe layout, and I use this. From lack of use it's gone a bit stiff, but it will turn perfectly okay, and it's very useful for weathering locos and things like that, because you can just turn them round, and it's big enough for the biggest loco, so with a tender, etc. So that's really my setup for spraying. It's entirely homemade, and I've been using it for about 5 years now, I think, maybe longer. I really can't remember when I made it, but I know it works, because if I spray some very smelly paint like enamel or some of the rattle cans, and I use a lot of rattle cans, they produce an enormous amount of volatiles, lots of smell, and the rattle cans produce a vast amount of overspray, and I get no overspray at the front here, get virtually no overspray down here. What you see down here is where I've actually sprayed it, when I've been spraying things, when I've been spraying a model or something. So I know that it works, and all the smell goes outside, and if you go and stand outside while I'm spraying, you can really smell it. So there we have it. Not quite as big as some people's, bigger than some other people's, but what did it cost me? Can't really remember. The really useful boxes are quite expensive. That one might be £15, and the one on top might be 8 or 9. Probably not any more, complete with turntable and the extraction hoses, not more than about 30 quid. But remember, I already had the extraction fan, which, being as it's a woodworker's extraction fan, it's intended to have particulates of wood running through the fan, and that those in air are quite volatile, so the smallest spark could set those off. So as you can see, there's no sparks, it is safe. It's entirely meant for that purpose. Anyway, what I'll do now, I won't put this on camera, is I'll set it up in the direction that I use it, connect it all up, and I'll get on with spraying the warehouse with its primer coat. I'll show you that when it's done, and then I'll wrap the video up. So I'll be back. Okay, here we have the building primed and assembled again. It's pretty much dry. The primer I used is my favourite acid number 8, which I think you get from Halfords, but I can't remember at the moment. I'm going to have to find out because I've just pretty much run out. But what I have here is a roof, which is for the canopy, the hoist canopy, and I also up here have all of the windows, which now need to be coloured for the respective buildings. So they're just stuck on a bit of card so they didn't blow away in the gale force that comes out of the rattle cans. So the next job is going to be the manual job of painting all the brickwork, possibly taking the stone colours down a bit. I'm intending to use the grey as the stones here and the stones on the coins, but I do feel it needs to be toned down a bit. It's a bit bright, but then maybe the weathering will do that anyway. Once I've got the brickwork painted, then I can start adding a couple of pipes here, and I can add the windows, which is the thing that's holding up being able to put the other floors in, and I can also fit these doors, which I just realised I've forgotten to make, so I'm going to have to go back to the silhouette cutter and Inkscape and produce some new doors. The other thing that I've done is this building here cannot have any detail in these 4 windows because behind here is just blocked up with moving parts of the wagon pull. But this window can have detail in it. So what I've done is I have created a little piece of detail to go in there, which is the way I intend to make all of my detail. This is some scale scenes texture that I've stuck on the floor and the walls. The office furniture is from Fowler, and the figure is from a job lot that I bought on eBay for fitting into coaches. This is the method I intend to use for all of the interiors. I intend to make them all as units like that and then slide them in from the back. I can fit under here is where I can fit the lighting, and then I can lose the wiring down the back of it or something. I haven't worked all of that out yet, but that's the way I intend to fit all of the interiors to all of my buildings. That is slid in from the back. In this case, this one isn't slid in from the back because I can't get to it. But what I have done is put a piece of texture on the wall there, so that when this is in place, get the right way up. I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but when it's in place you can see all the textures, and as you can see there's not enough light to get in there at all, which is why you need lights. But it's the only window of that building that has any chance of going anywhere. So can't do any more to this building until I've painted the brickwork. Then I can fit the windows, then I can start to fit the other interior partitions. I just wouldn't be able to reach into it to fit the windows if I did it all first. So I'll wind this video up now, and I'll say thanks for watching, and I shall be back soon with some more updates, hopefully with the brick colours painted and maybe some windows fitted. So bye for now everybody, goodbye.